Hi, my name is Laura Litton and I'm the Director of Teacher Happiness here at Classkick. I'm so excited that you could join us this morning for our Classkick 101. In the next 15 minutes, we'll go through how to create an assignment, view your students working live, and giving individualized feedback to them when they need it. And as your presenter, I'm going to help facilitate. So feel free to ask me or your neighbors for help as we go along. This entire slideshow, by the way, is available on our Classkick resources site. So it's classkick.com/teachers right there under PD presentations. And you can go through this with yourself, a friend, or other people, as well as we're going to record this and make sure that it's available later. Basically, to get started, I want you to make sure that you have either the Classkick app open on your iPad or you're going to app.classkick.com from a Chromebook, desktop, or laptop and display that here. You'll know that you're in the right place if you see the green C with that Classkick background. And once you go to either app.classkick.com or you open up the iPad app, then you have the option to join a sample assignment. So here you can type in U2R, I5M in the class code section and your name, and then tap go, or I like to use HGKSU1. I'm just going to flip over and show you what that looks like from the iPad. Okay, so when I first see Classkick and I open it up, I see that I'm looking for a class code. So here I'm going to type in HGKSU1 and then my first name, but you can also have students log in using their last names or using their last names, their first initial, and a 3-digit code. On the iPad, we auto-fill in the names, auto-complete them for students, and that way they don't have to remember how to spell it every single time, or if they make typing errors when they're typing, we fix that for them. But in this case, I'm going to log in using my first name. And what I'm going to see is the assignment that my teacher has created for me. So in this assignment, there is text at the top. There is an audio clip that I can listen to. There's pictures around. In this particular case, my teacher's already given me some feedback, so I'm turning that on and off using that little toggle button in the bottom right-hand corner. When it's off, it's only showing me what the actual assignment is, and when it's on, it's showing me some feedback that my teacher has given me. As a student, I can interact with this assignment in a couple of different ways. All of my menus tools are on the left-hand side, so I can write using a colored pen and change the color or the width, and then just write right on the screen using my finger. So a tough question might be, for example, if I don't like anything that I've done, I can either erase it using the eraser, just run my eraser over any part of the line, or I can hit undo to bring it all back, or redo to do those actions again. I can also insert text if I would like to type rather than write with my finger by hitting the ABC button, and that will bring up a new text box. And I can resize that text box using the arrows on the bottom right-hand side of it. So if I move this down the page, we'll automatically readjust the page for you. So I might type in here. I can make my typing bigger by tapping the A+ button or smaller by tapping the A- button. I can also highlight a word and change the color of it using any of those tools there. And I can resize this using my resize arrow on the right-hand side. So if this is very big text and I want it to go on to only one line, I might resize it that way, for example, or if I want to bring it back out, then I can just drag it back out. I can also insert a picture. So if I'd like to take a picture of something that I'm working with, maybe a math manipulative, then I can just go in there and take a picture, and I can crop any part of that picture. So there's our Classkick sticker. I'll take a picture of that, use that photo, and then I can crop it by dragging from the top left to the bottom right of anything, and that'll let me get only the part that I want in there. And then in order to resize that, I use 2 fingers to move it or pinch it to resize. So I'm using 2 fingers right now to make it smaller or bigger, or to turn it, rotate it, move it around the screen. If there's something that I don't want, I can always drag it over to that trash can on the right, and that'll drop it into the trash can where it will be deleted off of the screen. That's true for text and for audio as well. The last thing I can do as a student is I can insert my own audio. So maybe I'm a struggling reader, or this is my second language, or whatever it might be. I can record something that I'd like to record. So maybe I'm reading something for reading fluency, and then save it on the page, and there's my audio chip that my teacher can now come back and listen to. If I need help on this page, I can also raise my hand and say, please help me, or please check my work, I feel like I'm done. And you can see this option, I want help from the teacher only. If my teacher has turned on student helpers, I can see those student helpers from the top left where the little hand icon is. Oh, these are my classmates, and some of them need help and some of them need to be checked. So I can jump into any of these classmates and see that I'm in helper mode with that yellow helper mode banner at the top. looks like this classmate was looking for some help. They've written down their 2 questions. They've gotten some feedback from my teacher, so I might just tell them that they're doing a great job, or whatever kind of feedback I'd like to give them. I'm not sure who I'm helping because it's anonymous, and that way they're not too shy to raise their hands, but they get a little banner on their screen saying that Laura is helping them. So they can choose to take my feedback with a grain of salt or to accept it at face value, whatever it might be. When I hop back into my own screen, some other options I have are I've gotten feedback on a different page. That's why I have this little green bell notification. So I got feedback on page 2 while I wasn't looking at this. So if I jump over to page 2, I can see what this feedback is that's been dropped on here. Looks like I've gotten some pictures as feedback and a quick feedback. That's what this owl is. I can also export my work, so send it to myself on the computer by hitting the share button, and that'll give me a web URL. And so if I want that web URL to send to myself, then I can open up this email message, and that'll send me a link directly to my work, so I don't need to bring my iPad home. Or I could send this link to my parents or my older brother and sister or someone else that I'm collaborating with, and then we can both be working this assignment together. Okay. Other things that I can do as a student, I can scroll up and down on the page using the scroll bar on the right-hand side. I can also zoom in and out by using 2 fingers to pinch in. So I can zoom all the way to 500%. As you can see on this top right-hand corner where the reset button is, I can also bring myself back out. So zooming, scrolling, writing, text, images, audio, raising my hand, turning teacher feedback on and off, helping out my fellow peers, getting feedback in that bell notification, and sharing my web URL. Okay. Now, as a teacher, how can I interact with Classkick? If I tap on Teacher Head this way, we save your email and password. We get a lot of questions. How do I unsave my email? Just go in here and delete it, hitting that little X button, and that way it will no longer be saved. So if students are using the same device, then they will no longer have access to that. Once I go to sign in, I've got all my assignments down the middle. As they're loading, you can see that I've got a bunch of them about different things. And so I can choose to sort them by alphabetically or by my most recently opened, which ones I've used most recently. Or I can turn them into a list view rather than seeing all those thumbnails, if maybe that helps me find the one that I'm looking for. Or I can search. So I've made 4 different examples of the Gift of the Magi at different SAMR levels. So here's my 4 different versions. And from here, I can still flip back and forth between them as a list view and them as a thumbnail view, or I can sort them alphabetically or any of those things, even within the search. Okay, now within an assignment, so if I tap into one that I've already created, this, for example, was created from rational number test that someone was providing. So I can insert text, I can insert images, I can insert sound, all of those things. I also have an additional thing that students cannot do, which is that I can insert a link. So if I want to make them go to a certain place, maybe I want them to practice on a Khan Academy exercise, or maybe I want them to go to IXL, or maybe I'd like them to research something using only specified sites that I would like them to look at. I can put all of that here into this link, and then students will see the option of clicking on the link, and that will take them to that particular website in their default browser. So usually that's Safari on an iPad, or it will open up another tab in the browser that they're looking at if they're using this on a Chromebook, desktop, or laptop. And again, if there's anything that you don't want, you can always drag it over here to the trash can and drop it in there. Another thing I can do is set point values for my assignment pages. So you can see here that this first page is worth 3 points. Here I can set that and say, actually, I want it to be worth 4 points instead, and then go through and give my students feedback just by tapping on these plus or minus icons. And so saying like Abby has gotten 4 points. You can see how we also color code these for you, or 3 points. All of that's reported out to me then from my whole class view, so I can see that there. I can also duplicate or delete my pages or rearrange them by long pressing on one and rearranging it somewhere else on the screen. Within an assignment, you'll see that you have a class code in the top right-hand side. So if you have no classes assigned, so for example, in this case, if I turn this off, then you'll just see the screen that says assign a roster to get a class code and view the student work. So I jump in, I pick one of the rosters that I've created, or I can create a new one on the spot, and then say, okay, I'd like you to assign this work to that class period, and then you'll see this class code. That's what the students used to log in that first time. You saw that I used HGKSU1. In this case, it's 2IQLEW, or I can copy this link and place it in Google Classroom or Canvas or another LMS and have them log in directly so they don't have to memorize that class code or remember it. And all they have to do is type in their first name. From here, I've got one row for each student, so I can see all of them. If they were logged in right now, then their row would be highlighted in white, and the screen that they would be looking at would be highlighted in green. If I jump into a student to give them feedback, you can see all the options to make content are true for giving feedback as well. So I can give feedback to this student by writing on their screen, by inserting a text box, by giving them audio, by giving them a link, by giving them an image, or if I'm on the iPad, I can use a quick feedback. Quick feedbacks are just statements that I often find myself repeating. They have a sticker attached to them if I want them to, and so I can just pop it right on the screen and then drop into the next kid and pop another one, drop to the next kid, pop another one, or I can give feedback numerically. So maybe each of these kids I'm giving a point to as I go along, or 2 points, depending on how they're doing. And then I can see all of that reported out in my whole class view. So there's the 3 stickers that I gave, as well as the points that I started giving to different students. Okay, if I would like to export my work, then I can export this to PDFs and get one PDF for each student and either email myself them or airdrop them. I can also share out this assignment with other teachers. So if I'd like other teachers to use it, then I can tap here to send it to them via email, or I can copy this link out and put it on Twitter or some other place where I know that they'll be able to access it. I can also duplicate my assignment or delete my assignment. And if I'm making a new assignment, I have 3 choices. I can make a blank one where we give you 3 blank pages to add any content that you'd like, or I can import from a PDF, and that will sync with your Google Drive account so that you can take any PDF that you have sitting in Google Drive, and we make 1 page of each PDF into its own question on Classkick. Or I can browse sample assignments. So these are all of our assignments from our library. You can jump in here, see the different assignments, interact with them, adapt them, and then save them to your own work so that you have them for the future. If you need any help using Classkick, you can always jump over here where the question mark is. You can message us and hear back today. Any of those emails will come to me, so I'm able to return them to you. You can open the Getting Started menu that you see the first time, which has our training videos in there. So if you would like to learn how to view student work and provide feedback, we give you a 60-second video on that, or how to prep an assignment, or how to assign work to students. All of those are available there. Or you can go to our teacher resources page, and that will answer your frequently asked questions. It will show you PowerPoint that I started with when we started this presentation. You can go to our support pages or our community pages, see some sample assignments online, open our quick start guide or 1-pager. We have a teacher guide for the iPad, for example, that will walk you through how to do everything in Classkick on the iPad or on the web, just using great screenshots as well as arrows and quick explanations. So that is for all of the people who enjoy kind of the written aspect of it. You can also, in Classkick, from that little side menu, vote for different features. So if you would like to say, oh, I really wish that this was in Classkick, then you can jump over to our features page and vote for anything that you think is really important that we should include in the future. And then there's a bunch of other features that other people have requested that you can also vote for on that page. And then finally, you saw the little tooltips that popped up while I was using Classkick. If you've turned yours off, or if you'd like to see them again, you can tap on that button to turn on the tips. All of this is completely free for teachers and students, and we'd love so much for you to use it and let us know what you think. If you're looking for some more advanced features, we also offer 2 plans, our Classkick Plus and our Classkick Pro plans, and those are just things like folders or having individual student logins as opposed to using a class code or having an assignment due date, those kinds of things. If you're interested, please come to this page and either tap the join the waitlist for our Plus, or to say that you're interested in Pro, and we'll reach out to you and talk to you about pricing and licenses for you and your students. Again, thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you need anything, you can reach out to me at laura@classkick.com, or you can tap on this chat button on our homepage in order to reach out and chat with me live. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.